Hello, dear friends. Welcome to live streaming. Welcome to Monday. I'm really happy to see you there. And for me, it's a great start about the new week. Be together and paint together. During all the demo, feel free to ask me any questions. I have a technical group support, so I will hear your questions and I'll do my best to answer. So feel free. That's your time. And this photo, this is our subject for today. You'll see it then we switch the camera. I took this photo 3 days ago in the morning. It's like just 10 minutes from my house here in Montreal in Lachine. And it's a very nice group of people, like a morning promenade. So that's what exactly we will try to do today. Idea is we have four subjects, four people on the street, and that's the basic idea of the demo. We don't paint one by one. We will try to explain everything together. So no matter how many people we have, we're trying to make the one object, the group of the people. So it's kind of a different idea. Ready? Let's go. So I prepared already my paper. This is the Saunders Waterford 300 grams, and I make the sketch. The back side of my paper wet, so that means I have more time to play with my pigments. And sorry, because I need more space. For now, I remove my reference photo. Later, I put it here so you can see what we're doing. For now, sorry about that. I need more space. And let's go. Hello, India. Hello, Ukraine. Hello, Germany. Welcome to join me today. Hello, South Africa. That's so cool. Different countries in one place. Amazing. Montreal, Quebec City. Welcome. You see, I'm blending everything together, so there is no difference between the subject. It's still just one subject, and I blend everything like that. Finally, we're starting to create a shape, but not now. And I changed the colors a little bit. I don't like the gray colors everywhere in the dress, so we play with the colors a little bit, make it more interesting. So we had some bluish pigments here. This is a phthalo blue color from the Daniel Smith. Hello, Spain. Netherlands. Indiana, United States. Welcome to join me today. That's the idea. You see, because of the background on my paper, the backside was wet. I can blend everything, and I have a time to play with that. So that's cool. I switch to a little bit bigger brush. I will try to make it in 1 hour, so in my mind I have a time limitation. It's just like a simple fast sketch. I don't want to create it like a complicated painting. Portugal, welcome to join me today. And I'm touching the background in the same moment, so I'm trying to combine everything together. So that's the main idea of my style. I'm always trying to paint the lights and shadow, and I'm never separate my subject for the parts like people number one, the figure number two. It's just one space, and that space have a shadows and lights, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to play with that exactly. Nice green pigments here, so let's gonna use it. Hello friends, Ireland, Barcelona, great town, great city. I was there 2 times and I'm really enjoy. Thank you for joining me today. And let's add some dynamic space there. So okay, question about the green color. This mix between sub-green and phthalo green blue shade, Daniel Smith. As you can imagine, we back to this later to create another one layer and separate some parts of my painting on the bodies. So for now we're just preparing the first wash and the first background. But for me it's the one of the most interesting part of all the process, how we can combine everything together and make good connection. Plus, it's a great chance to make the movement and explain the movement in the bodies, like a little bit on focusing, to create it alive and like a loose style. And I like really like that special effect of watercolor. Then all the pigments going to blend itself. Just imagine if you want to do something like that in oil, how much time you have to spend to make the perfect blending. But in watercolor it's coming itself. So that's cool. And a little bit wash out to bring the light. So slowly we're starting to create the shapes. I still use my big brush because it's just more faster, and because it's, you see, I can use the corner of the brush to make the small details at the same moment. It's like a universal tool. Okay, about the white paint, never ever. I hate the white paint on the watercolor. It's always very nice in oil, that's for sure, but in watercolor I prefer to see it's transparent and see the paper instead of the paint. You know, it's completely different feeling than you see the paint or clear paper. And about the masking, yeah, times to times, but I still don't like it. It's just if we're talking about something really complicated and I need to make something precise, which I normally don't like to do. So in that case, yes, but it's like in 100 painting, one of them will be with a masking fluid, so I don't like it. I prefer to see the exactly clear paper and not trick. So if I need a white, I have to predict it and keep it like a paper. It's like a challenge, you know. Okay, good question about the palette. You know, first of all, I have 9 basic colors. Here is it. 3 of them, Quinacridone, Sienna, Pyrrol Violet, and Indigo, I'm almost eating, so I'm using them a lot. And plus more colors. So idea is, it's like, you know, the primary colors, but that it's not exactly the primary colors. It's kind of like a Queen Sienna. It's not exactly the yellow. And the Pyrrol Violet, not exactly the red, like Indigo, not exactly the blue colors. But all of them very rich, and combination between that colors exactly interesting, and make my painting interesting and rich as well. So always if I discover the new pigments, I'm trying to understand not how the pigment look like. I'm trying to understand how that pigment mixing with my pigments, with my palette. If the mix interesting, this pigment or this paint have a chance to be part of my family. If not, or I can mix the same pigment without problem with my colors, I'm never gonna use it like a new one. So always I'm trying to understand how they going looks together in the mix, not itself. For my feeling, that's the key. So I switch to the smaller brush a little bit, and we continue to play with some pigments there. I like the trees on the photo, so here is it. You see the trees on the background. I prepared that a little bit, so we're gonna make it after. That's nice stuff. Okay, the question about the skin color. Okay, there is no skin color on our world. If someone tell you that's the skin color, don't believe in that. Because it's simple, you know, the skin color in the candlelight or on the sunset or cloudy day, that will be completely different mix. So the mix for skin, what we can use always, absolutely not exist. So here I'm use just a Queen Sienna and Crimson, two guys together. Sometimes a little bit more Sienna, a little bit more Crimson, but you know, any warm dirt on your palette can works like a skin color. For the shadow, for instance, for now, I'm mostly on the skin. I mostly use Moonglow. I like that combination between warm colors here and warm colors on the skin and the Moonglow for the shadow. It's a great combination, so I like it. So like this, we're starting to create the shapes of the subjects. And I'm still using my flat brush because it's more easy to control what happens. Okay, this big palette, question about my studio palette. No, it's still prototype. We're still working how to improve it and sell. But I believe we need a few more months to finish it our production and start to sell it. So for now, it's just like a prototype. I'm using this to understand what I'm like here, what's not good for me. So it's still prototype. Sorry, we're working hard to make it available. Thank you very much for your likes. That helped me and it support me. Thank you. I appreciate it. The Queen Sienna, it's not the raw Sienna, it's not the burnt Sienna, it's completely different color. It's I can show you how it's look like. It's very colorful pigment. Look. So it's more close to the orange. You see, it's very colorful stuff. That's why it's great for mixing because it's transparent, colorful. I need just a little bit Queen Sienna to add to any kind of mix and I have something nice warm color. So you know, it's not raw, it's not burnt, it's different. So for now I make it dry and we're gonna be ready to put the second layer. And this time, as I say, I like the trees here on the photo. So that's why I'm gonna include some trees decoration in my background. And I'm exactly starting from this. Okay, the question about the brushes. You see, because of that brush, few reasons. First of all, it's easy to make washout, and I like washout like this effect. You couldn't make it with a soft squirrel around brushes. You have to use something strong like that. Second one, it's a tiny brush. I can make the details. You see, it's very, very sharp. I can make the details as well in the same moment, so it's like a universal tool, and that's why I like it. It's look like it's hard to control, but honestly it's easy to control. You can see that. And if I use just a round brush, I couldn't do everything what I'm doing now, so I have to switch to different brushes always, all the time. But I'm lazy guy, you know. If I can do everything with one or two brushes, that's great for me. In that case, I don't have to think what we're gonna do, how I have to, at what time I have to change brush and switch. So I like that. We have 100 people. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's as I say in the beginning, it's a great feeling to start the week like that. So thank you. And continue talking about the brush. Yeah, for now I have to switch to the smaller brush because I'm starting to create the details. And for this, yes, I need a smaller one. I see the question about the washing paper. I'm not exactly understand what you mean. Mean make it wet before we start to paint, or what do you mean washing paper? If you're asking about is it necessarily to make it wet before? No, it's not. It depends on the style what you're using and how you're painting. So sometimes it's good idea, sometimes not. If you prefer painting wet on wet, for sure you have to make it wet before. If you use a dry brush, mostly it's not necessary. Like this time I put the water on the back because I need more time to play with my gradients. But for the more faster sketching, like maybe around the 15 minutes, it's not necessary, so I can paint directly without preparation, any kind of preparation. Thank you. No, for sure. We can use the different techniques, different styles. It depends what you're looking for. This subject, for my feeling, better to explain in that technique. But we can do everything we want. You know, that's why I like the art. There is no limitation. You can do everything you want. And nobody can decide what is the best. Only you. And sometimes that way is great way. Sometimes we switch to something different. That's make art really cool. Yes, good question about the pencil sketching. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I like them. It's a part of my my history, and then I back to my sketches what I did like maybe 5-10 years ago. It's more easy to understand how I'm moving in the right direction or wrong direction. So that's good question. Thank you. Okay, my table, question about the table. It's a PVC board, so it's a kind of plastic like this. And that PVC board, not heavy and never absorb the water, so that's why there is no problem to put a lot of water there. It's always will be okay. As I say, we play with the colors a little bit. For example, for this lady, I make it a little bit more reddish, because too much gray and that's look equal on the photo. Not really interesting. So we play with the pigments a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. Okay. About the mixing the background and the bodies and everything together, honestly, it's your mind, then you explain the world, separate the subject. But if you look at the photo, for instance, it's not a big difference between this and that, and you don't see exactly the line, and it happens everywhere. So it's pretty soft connection everywhere, and just your mind, and we're trying to explain the world, say, okay, that's the legs, that's the body, and that's the background. But it's not exactly what your eyes saw. You see something different. So I'm trying to follow in exactly what I see. And I like how it's combined together. I like that trick, if it's trick. But that's exactly what you really see. All the pixels on your screen sometimes very similar and blended together. So no huge difference. The light is the light. The shadow is the shadow. That's the separated, and that's very visible. You always see the separated lights and separated shadow. But the subjects, not exactly. This is just our explanation of the world, but it's not exactly what we see, for my opinion. Plus, it helped me to show the movement. Like a little bit unfocusing. Hello, Ren. Welcome to join me today. Hello, Yucatan, Mexico. Okay, about the colors in my palette, there is no pink colors here. I have a Alizarin Crimson. It's like a basic primary red color, and my favorite Pyrrol Violet. So just the two, I can say, reddish guys. They're not exactly reddish, but something like this. Okay, thank you for a question about the beginners for watercolor. On my website, watercoloronline.com, special for that reason, we create the package, right? We call that Right Start package. It's 4 video lessons and the book. this book about the watercolor, my book with the exercises, so you can find here a lot of information about the materials, basic exercises, everything. So that's exactly what we create for people who want to start using watercolor by the right way. Not like a paint, like a different material, like a thinking. So you can find these on the website, as I say, watercolorline.com. And we created like not just like a one package. A lot of lessons we starting, if you're starting from the right start package, after that slowly you're growing up with the different lessons. So we create like a big program for that, and we have a lot of students, you know, and great feedbacks about this. So it was a great idea. In the chat you can find the link for the package. So here is a question about the paper. This is the Saunders Waterford 300 grams rough paper. This is my favorite paper, but as well I like the arches, and I'm always use the rough paper. I like the, almost always, I like the texture of the paper and the special effect what we can do with this. So it's a pretty nice. I like the dry brush. So we have 50 likes. Thank you very much for your support. That's a question about the paper. You see the dry brush, what I'm doing right now. I like that texture. So that's possible only on the rough paper. Okay, the question about the flat brushes. It's my brand. It's called a Solo Flat. So we create that line on the factory with the master. It's a handmade brushes, and you can find it on my website as well. The link in the chat. So that's brushes made special for me. This brush, all that brushes, it's a series, different sizes. They have a nice history, and on the same YouTube channel you can find the free video about my brushes. I explain everything, why I'm using this, how I'm using this, so you can find all that information right there. Remember, idea was to create the simple sketch. That's why I don't want to spend a lot of time to create the perfect faces or something. We're just trying to explain the group. Okay, the question about the edges. Unfortunately, there is no answer. You know, if we can explain about art everything like in mathematics, if you follow in that rule, you will have this. If you follow in this rule, you have that. It not will be art, you know. A lot of things is just spontaneous. I'm following my feeling. My feeling tell me what here will be better to keep the strong shape. Here, blend everything together. So there is no like that rules. I couldn't say that's the solution. There is no solution. Your feeling is solution. Only that. So if you feel better like this, do it. In your life, you will take an experience. If you make the wrong decision, the next time you will make the right. So it's like just a practice. Привет, Германия! Здравствуйте! Hello, Dubai! Hello, Dubai! Okay, the question about the shading with the colors. You know, that's simple. We always painted from light to shadow. And you see, I'm slowly at the more darker pigments and more. So finally, I will touch it a few more times if I feel what's something not dark enough. But if you're moving slowly and everywhere, that's important. If you control everywhere, finally you'll understand. Do you have to make it darker, lighter, all your parts? So idea is, if you make just one part of your painting, finish it. You never know is it dark enough or not, because nothing to compare. If everything, we have something everywhere, more easy to compare and to understand what we should do with that. Like here, for instance, I like to blend it together because there is no contrast. It's just a one big soft shadow. That's why I can combine it and connect it. Okay, thank you for the question about the languages. My native, I'm Russian, guys, so my native language is Russian. I speak English, as you can see, not great, but enough to explain what I want to say. And I can understand and speak a little bit on French, and that's it. Unfortunately, that's it. And it's pretty sad, by the way. It's just because I'm living in Canada just 12 years, and before I'm living in Moscow. It's pretty hard to study the different languages in Russia. There is no like a different community. I couldn't practice. So I'm starting to study the different languages just here in Canada. Спасибо за комментарий. The question about the black color. You know, first of all, the real black color, honestly, not exactly exists. We have something dark and something. But if you take the, like we say, black color, it never will be look nice. And for my feeling, much better to mix the black colors. Make it a little bit more warm, a little bit more cold, make it different. And that's interesting game. If you use just a clear, simple black, it's gonna make your painting flat. So that's why I prefer to mix it always. Like, for example, one of the best black color you can have if you mix, look, just Queen Sienna, my favorite guy, and Indigo. So together you have a more Queen Sienna, you have a brown color, like here. So that's look like a brown, like a burnt umber or something like this. But here it's look like a black. And I like that black because I can make it colder, make it warm, but it's always different. And that make it look interesting. Hello Argentina, thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you. Hello, Abu Dhabi. Thank you, thank you. Good question about the pencil on the watercolor paintings. You know, I like to leave it like that because and I like to see the pencil on the paintings on other artists because that helped me to understand how the artist thinking. I see like all the blueprints of the project. That helped me to learn. That helped me to think, and I like it. So for me, there is no problem. It's the part of my project. I did it. I'm responsible for that. So if it's visible, that's great. No problem. Hello, Portugal. So we're almost done. I will try to be fast to finish that, because the idea was to create this sketch, as you remember. Okay, the question from Minnesota. What do you mean just one time? No, I'm clean it always, but then I take the mix. I use the paper towel to control how much water on my brush, and times to times I remove the extra. And I'm using the mix, so I don't have to put the brush in the water always, but times to times I'm for sure doing this. So for now I just put some accents, and we have to create the shoes. I like how they look like, so we care about that. Thank you very much for your words. Yeah, okay. But no problem. We can continue talk, and if you have any questions, feel free. That's your time. Okay, the angle of my board is something around like a 3 or maybe 5 degrees, almost flat. So the angle is really soft. I need the angle just to understand in what direction my water going to move on my paper. But it's almost flat. If it will be completely flat, it's very easy to be lost, because I don't know, it can be moved to the left, to the right. So if I have a very soft angle, that's enough to control. Thank you, South Carolina. Thank you. Hello, Lebanon. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you. My pleasure. All my experience at your service. That's why we create that demo on Mondays. So if you have any questions, I like to share my experience. Then I hear your questions. That help me to understand some ideas. I'm learning as well. So we both working together. Thank you. I like it as well. Yeah, It's like a spirit of watercolor. It's real water. Thank you. Yeah, you know that all the store what we have online store, it never was idea to create the business. It's just because I'm discovering that brushes, and because I have a lot of students, and I couldn't explain them how to use that brush if they don't have it. So that's why we're starting to produce it. So for now, all my students can use the same materials like I'm using. So idea was like this, like a natural way. It never was like a business. It's just part of the education first. And that's exactly what I say. Finally, then we organize our paper. I'm trying to look around again and decide, do I have to change something? So for instance, this time I feel what that part of the body, for instance, don't have exactly the good explanation of the light. So I want to make it more lighter. And for this, the best way to use the negative space again. So that's what we're going to do there. And we have 150 people. Thank you very much for joining me today. I know on Monday everybody busy, so that's why double thanks. And Canada, Labor Day, congratulations. So here, because of the negative space, now we have a better feeling of the light there. So that's how we can reorganize what we're doing. Plus, we can add some texture there as well, so it's always look great. And let's finish it there, our trees, make it more visible. Thank you very much for your comments about the price of our brushes and all the art supplies. You know, it's important for me as well, so thank you for understanding. Yeah, as I say, we not create like a strong business. I'm not a businessman, I'm an artist, you know that. So this just like a part of my life, and we doing our best to keep the prices as low as possible. Special talking about all that materials, it's handmade, so it's a different price for us. But yeah, thank you. Just a few more touching and that will be done. Thank you, India. So I believe that we're done. We spent like 50 minutes for that. Like for the sketch about the 4 people on the street, I believe that that's enough. So thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me today. I'm still here if you have some questions and you want to ask me something. And as I say, all the materials you can find on my website. If you have some questions, feel free to send me email. I appreciated your time and all my experience at your service. And I hope I will see you again in a few weeks on the online demo. Maybe it will be YouTube as well. Maybe we switch to Instagram like for the experiments. We'll see. But anyway, if you subscribe on my website, you will know all the information about my free available demos everywhere. So we will be together. Thank you again for your time and see you. Stay healthy. Bye bye.